Hello everyone, I'm Alex Pearl.
And I'm Scott Pearl.
And what we'll be doing for you this week is bringing you our Week 1 NFL predictions. And there's no more training camp. No more preseason.
It is here.
It is here. Yes. And with that being said, we'll get up to the first game here slated, which will be Thursday night's football game of the Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, reigning Super Bowl champ Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But for this one, I will say that Dak is
back.
Zeke as well. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I just think that offense is just going to click. Dak is back. They're going to change the game. I think that they're going to take this one. I think they're going to beat the Bucs.
I think the defense is shockingly going to show up as well. And that's why I think America's team takes this one.
Interesting. So we both go with the Cowboys here.
That's correct. Next up, we have the Seahawks versus the Colts. We have one franchise who, of course, has one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. And then we have another franchise who's not even sure who their quarterback is really going to be in Week 1. So with that in mind, I think it's easily going to be the Seahawks.
I'm going to have to agree. I even think if Carson Wentz was 100% and available and Eason, whoever's starting there at this point, I don't think they're going to take down Wilson, the Seahawks. Seahawks for me as well. Next up on the slate, we will have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Houston Texans. The Texans are just a team in just so much disarray. Even though Trevor Lawrence is a rookie quarterback for Jacksonville, I think he's still a lot better than Tyrod Taylor, so I think the Jaguars easily take this one.
For me, it's short and sweet. Tyrod Taylor starting, that's a loss. That's it.
I agree.
And then next up, we have a curious one, the Battle of the Birds. We have the Eagles versus the Falcons. For me, I think it's an easy one. I think this is the year we actually start to see Matt Ryan actually go over the hill. And I think that's going to be evident from Week 1 on. So I think the Eagles take this one easily.
Even though I'm still on the fence about Jalen Hurts, I'm actually going to agree here. Battle of the Birds is going to go towards the Eagles. I think the Eagles will fly and win this one. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Washington football team. I guess technically now they're still the football team. And I'm going to say that I think Washington's going to take this one. I think Fitzmagic just has so many weapons right now, and I think they're just going to win this one. I think I'm calling them to take the Chargers.
I think Herbert proves he's the face of the franchise this year, and that is also going to be evident in Week 1. And I think it's an easy Chargers win. The Chargers always have a way of making games close, so it won't be easy, but I do have the Chargers.
Okay.
And of course, next up, it looks like a battle of playoff teams. I think both teams will likely be there. We have the Steelers versus the Bills. For me, I actually have the Bills making a really deep playoff run this year, so I have them in Week 1 over the Steelers.
That's fair. I'm going to say the Bills as well. I think Josh Allen is going to lead the victory. I think Big Ben's declining, so I'm going to go with the Bills on this one. And next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Detroit Lions. This is a tough one to call, actually. Jimmy G versus Jared Goff, two mediocre quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I think the 49ers have the better overall roster, and I think they will prevail in this one.
The 49ers are still a very scary team when they're healthy, and they are looking healthy going into Week 1, so I think it's an easy win for the Niners.
Definitely.
Next up, we have the Vikings against the Bengals. This is a tough one for me, but I think Burrow is going to be ready for Week 1, and I think he's going to lead with victory.
Yeah. I actually think, despite the fact that Burrow's coming off, season-ending ACL, surgery, I think he's going to be 100%. I think they're going to try their best to protect him, and they've added more weapons. I got the Bengals taking this one as well.
And then next up, we have the Jets and the Panthers. This one is a battle of the non-playoff teams, I would say, because I do not see
the
either
race for the number 1 pick.
Absolutely, I could see it. I could see the Jets, of course, returning to the number 1 pick, or not the number 1 pick, but of course a top pick again. This one, I'm going to go Panthers. I think the Jets are still in total rebuild mode, and, their quarterback's quite young, even though Darnold's quite young as well, but he has a lot, of course, more football under his belt. So I'm going with the Panthers on this one.
Oh, it's interesting that you did bring up how Darnold is playing his former team, the New York Jets.
Yes.
I think having Christian McCaffrey, I think Robbie Anderson, I think there's just so many weapons. A lot more weapons surrounding Darnold. I think he's going to have much more success here in Carolina, and I'm going to say Carolina's going to take this one. And next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Tennessee Titans.
It's a good one.
Yeah. It's actually a really good one. These are both, I think, potential playoff teams. I think the Titans have such a strong offense. It's really hard to call this one. They're taking on Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's so dynamic. But honestly, I think I'm going to call it, for me, a shocker and say Kyler Murray leads the Cardinals to victory. Yes.
I'm going the safer route here. I think the Titans, of course, could also make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, they're banged up. Their receivers are banged
They
up.
are quite banged up, but you have that beast of a running back there, and that to me
Derrick
is
Henry,
just
yes, yeah.
he delivers them for the W. So that's why I have the Titans in week 1.
True.
Next up, we have the Browns and the Chiefs. I have to admit, I do believe the Browns will be improved, of course, with they have a healthy Odell Beckham. That's going to be huge, but not enough to stop the Chiefs.
Oh, no.
That's
I don't
a-
think so either.
And that's just a team that I'm surprised they were even stopped in the Super Bowl, of course. But
That
I have
offensive
the
line definitely played a huge role. Okay.
But that's what this trade in the offseason fixed. So I think we see that in week 1, and I think we see an easy win for Mahomes and company.
I'm gonna go with Mahomes as well to lead the Chiefs to victory. I think the Browns have a great defense. They're a team they're on the rise. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They're just too strong. Pat Mahomes is not gonna lose in week 1.
I agree. Next up, we have the Dolphins and the Patriots. The battle of 2 Alabama quarterbacks, really. With that in mind, I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Tua over Mac. Yeah. You know what? I agree. I'm gonna go with 2 as well. I think the Dolphins are gonna win this. I think they're a better overall team. The Patriots and they did spend a lot. In the
I think we
offseason,
could
but-
see about 7 interceptions, maybe combined in this game.
Yeah, possible. Very possible.
I don't really see a lot of points in this game, but I do see the Dolphins as being the better overall team as well.
I actually definitely agree. And next up, we have the Denver Broncos versus the New York Giants. In this one, I think the return of Von Miller is going to be felt here. I think the Broncos defense is very strong, and I think they're going to be in the face of Daniel Jones early and often. So I'm actually going to take the Broncos on this one.
I think you pretty much have to just have a bad game to lose to the Giants at this point. So I think the Broncos, even if they show up and just play,
Even
Okay.
with Teddy Bridgewater, should win.
yeah, that's enough for me. I think the Broncos take this one. Next up, we have the Packers and the Saints. This
Aaron
one's
Rodgers.
actually pretty easy for me. I don't think Rodgers is going to be. I don't think his mind is elsewhere. He's going to be focused like he always has been in the past. And I see an easy win. The Saints, of course, not even sure. I guess they've decided on their
Winston is the
quarterback.
quarterback, yeah.
But do you trust that over the Packers? I don't.
We saw Winston the last time he was a full-time star in Tampa Bay. He leaves, Brady comes, and what do? Win a Super Bowl.
Same exact team.
So I honestly think that Aaron Rodgers will, I think, handily give the Packers this win.
I agree. Next up, we have the Bears and the Rams. Of course, a defensive battle.
2 new quarterbacks for each team.
Yes, we could. Stafford, of course, he has weapons, and I think he utilizes them, and it's an easy win for the Rams.
I'm going to say an easy win. Andy Dalton's the starting quarterback for the Bears. Their defense is great, but with Dalton there, I don't know how consistent he's going to be. Fields
yeah.
could be he could be playing this game. Who knows? But I will say that I'm going to go with the Rams here.
Totally agree. And then we have the last game of Week 1, which is actually a Monday battle.
Yes, it is.
The Ravens versus the new Las Vegas Raiders. I say new.
Well, last year they were new, but this year in front of fans in Las Vegas, we'll consider them new.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
For me, I'm actually going to have to think about it, but I'm actually thinking about how bad the Ravens are going to beat the Raiders, I think it's going to get ugly. I have the Ravens taking this one easily.
I'm going to have to agree to disagree here. On this one, I think the Raiders are going to win. The defense is much improved. Lamar Jackson is without almost half his team with all the injuries on the offensive
That's
side
fair.
of the ball.
That's true.
I think at home, I think the Raiders are going to take this one. So I think the Raiders over the Ravens in Vegas Week 1. And that does it for our Week 1 predictions. We will be back here with Week 2. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.